Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Dan Roan. Dan is the author of the international bestseller, The Back of the Napkin, and a host of other books. He teaches you how to use drawing effectively in business. Dan is also the founder of the Napkin Academy, the world's first online visual thinking training program, and the reason we're here today is a discussion about his new book, Draw to Win. Dan, thanks for joining me.
Hey, good morning, Joe. It is a pleasure to be with you.
And what's really interesting is just because of this conversation, okay, more so than anything else, is that when you explained that, automatically what popped in my mind was this eyeball with this funnel behind it and some dots going back. And I all at once I'm capturing what you're saying visually because I'm processing that, and it's like I'm going to put a little work in that triangle. And
you got it.
Yeah.
Here's light coming in. Interesting little side note, Joe. I'm just going to run with this. Let's say this is the eye. So here's a person. Let's draw their, the person's looking this way. Okay, here's the eyeball. The back of the eye, obviously, is the retina. And the retina is where the rods and cones are, the primary means of detecting these photons of light that are coming in. Well, here's an interesting thought. The retina is actually, even though it's in the back of the eye, is actually part of the brain. These are some special neurons that have extruded their way out and are sitting on the back of our eye. So there is actually a lot of initial visual triage, if you will, kind of visual right up front, brute force visual processing that's literally taking place at the retina long before things go through the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve and into like the visual neocortex and things like that. There's a whole bunch of processing that's taking place. Your brain has pushed itself right out to sit at the back of the eye. And what's kind of interesting about this is actually, let's go with this diagram just a little bit more. So this is the neocortex. So when you think about the human brain, and you think about the folded gray matter, you're thinking about the neocortex. All mammals have a neocortex. It's just that in most mammals, it's much smaller. In humans, it's enormous. And then that surrounds something that's called kind of the limbic brain, our amygdala. It seems like a lot of fight and flight, a lot of where emotional processing is done. And that's sitting on the brain stem. So this is our spinal cord here. So this is our reptilian brain. Are you able to see my picture okay?
Yes, we're seeing it great.
Okay, so this is the brain stem. This is the back of our spinal column. This is the reptilian brain, ancient part of our visual of our brain, millions and millions of years old. And then around that again, the limbic brain, and then the neocortex. So there is actually back here, the visual neocortex, where a lot of the brute force, big picture processing of vision is taking place. But what's kind of cool is one of the things that these retinas do, or the rods and cones at the retina, the actual processing that's taking place at the retinal level, is a lot of the visual signal. In fact, about 10% of the visual signal, about 10%, is shunted off, never makes it into the major visual processing centers, goes straight into the reptilian brain. And there's a name for that. It is called the Ware pathway. And what it is it's the part of our visual system that detects our proximity to other objects. So right now, I'm looking at this piece of paper and my brain is detecting, is this thing near to me? Do I need to worry about it? Or is it far away? Maybe I don't need to worry about it so much. A lot of that processing is actually taking place down here in our reptilian brain. Now, the reason why that's important is we might talk a little bit later about something I call the 6x6 set of 6 pictures that we can draw to help us clarify what's going on in the world around us. One of those is going to be a map. When I talk about a map, the reason we might draw a map is it's the picture that we draw, as simple as it might be, a little X, Y, you're here and I'm here, something like that, and the big boogeyman's over here, or whatever. The map is simply the picture that we're drawing to capture this model that much of our reptilian brain is building about the space around us. Very ancient thing. We have this in common with crocodiles. Crocodiles are never going to learn the ABCs, never going to, because they don't have a neocortex to enable them to have the sort of the memory capacity for that sort of even brute force thinking. But what crocodiles like us are really good at is being able to detect their position relative to something else. And that's taking place, a lot of it down here in the reptilian brain. So that's just details, but I think it's all kind of cool stuff that adds up into if we understand how this system works, we can hotwire it. We can hijack it. The thing that I find really cool, Joe, about all of this study, looking into the neuromechanics of vision, the visual neurosciences, get this, vision is predictable. Vision is 100% predictable. Really good movie directors, Steven Spielberg, I don't know, Alfred Hitchcock, know this. What we mean by this is your visual system has evolved to try to do the best job it can at understanding a very complex world as fast as possible, because that's what keeps us alive, keeps us moving, keeps us from literally getting our head taken off by the thing that's flying at us. Okay, that system is a process, just like walking. Walking is a process, and pretty much everybody, with certain exceptions, pretty much everybody walks the same way. Mechanically, we walk the same way. Well, guess what? We all see the world. Most of us, we all see the world the same through the same process. Light comes in, it gets broken down into these discrete steps, these various visual pathways, each one of which feeds our brain a certain type of information. They all get stitched together at the end, and presto, we've got this live picture of the world to help us navigate through it. When I say vision is predictable, what that means is if I'm trying to share with you an idea, I know exactly what type of visual information your brain is looking for at what step in the process, at all steps in the process, which is a long-winded way of saying, when I want to show you something with a series of pictures, there are 6 pictures that I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw them in this sequence. There are other options, but this way always works to convey a complex idea to you, because all it's doing is mapping the pictures I give you to each step of your visual process. 100% predictability. I can guarantee which pictures your brain is going to want to see as I'm telling you a story. They're 6, they're simple, and it's cool. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and what are the 6?
Okay, so I'm running out of blank paper here, so I'm going to draw on the back of one of my sheets. All right. So the best way to do this is to imagine, this is the picture I often like to draw. This is me over here. We talked earlier about the best way to start a picture is to just draw a circle. There you have it, and give it a little name. Let's call this me. Okay, so that's me, and now I'm going to draw a bigger circle over here. And can you see me okay? Can you see these drawings okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to call this one my problem. My problem. Okay, and now I see that I've got a challenge right here, because there's little old me out here, and I've got a big old problem over here. Well, there's no way I can fix that problem because it's too big. So here's what the visual system does, is it divides the problem up into 6 slices, kind of like a really big pizza. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tackle this problem by taking it apart visually, slice by slice. And we're going to start over here with the who and the what. And then we're going to move over here and we're going to analyze the how much. These are the numbers. Then we're going to move down here. We're going to analyze the where. Where's everything located? Then we're going to move in here to when. What's the sequence in which I'm seeing things happen? Then we're going to talk about the how. What is the cause and effect chain that I'm witnessing? And we're going to wrap it up with the why. What is the lesson that I've learned? So here are the 6 pictures. And we start here and we move in a clockwise direction. So I've got a particular problem. I don't know what this might be. We'll call it, I don't know, the weather. Could be anything. Let's talk about the weather. So what we're going to do is we're first going to start out by drawing our pictures of our who and our whats. And I'm going to say, okay, well, there's me. So this is what I call a little portrait. Me, and there's some clouds, and there's some sun, and there's some rain. Okay, so what I've just done is I've drawn a little portrait that identifies the characters that are taking place in my problem. I'm not putting any judgment on them. I'm just drawing them out. Then I say how much. Now I draw a chart. So the chart is, let's say that this is % chance of rain from 100% to 0%. And this is my week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today, 0% chance of rain. Tomorrow, it's going to rain 100%. Then on Sunday, it's going to rain 100%. So now I'm drawing a chart. Then I say, okay, where? Well, now I draw my little map. So here's my little map of the U.S. I'm out here in California. I believe, Joe, you're down there in Florida. Is that right?
No, I'm in Indiana.
Oh, you're in Indiana. Okay, I saw a Florida number. You're up here in Indy. Okay, so you're over here. So I'm going to say the map is rain clouds here. It's going to rain on me, not going to rain on you. So I've got a little map. When? Okay, now I draw a little timeline. And it simply says what's going to happen is first a few clouds are going to come. And then a lot of clouds are going to come, and there's going to be a bunch of rain. And so my flow chart then says, how's it work? Okay, so if I have a cloud and it combines with a certain temperature, I'm going to get rain. The rain will fall on me. I need to have an umbrella to protect myself from the rain. So, and then I come around. So the ultimate lesson I've learned, sort of the why, the sort of what I call a visual equation, is I'd say, I am happier when I have an umbrella. So what I've done, those are the 6 pictures, by the way. You draw a little portrait, little stick figure, you draw a little chart, you draw a little map, a little timeline, a little flow chart, and a kind of a visual summary. And you just keep going around, and that's the way you explain a problem. And when you're doing sort of a visual pitch to someone, say back in your sales days, for example, and you want to explain to them why they might want to buy a particular piece of equipment, you'd map it out and you'd say, okay, here's the people and the objects that we need to work on. Here's some numbers, perhaps prices or effectiveness. Here's some maps that show the intersection of these things, and you work your way around these 6 pictures. You can explain anything to anybody by just drawing those.
You've done a wonderful job, okay, explaining things, and especially to my lean group of people, because I've always quoted this and used this for years, is that, you're not lean if you're not visual. And and that is, a perfect way to go. I thought Draw to Win was a great book for sales, for marketing, and even for the executive. We need to get those guys sketching, right? Even at this
Absolutely.
And that. So,
well, Joe,
tell me where I can find the book, and where's the best place to contact you, and just throw in and give me a plug about the Napkin Academy, okay?
Okay, so the easiest way to reach me is really simple. It's simply dan@danrome.com. If you can read that, dan@danrome.com. And that's my email address. danrome.com is the easiest place to find me online, and everything that we're talking about will be there. And the Napkin Academy, so napkinacademy.com, all one word. In fact, let me write it out right now so that people can see that. It is NAPKIN academy.com. That is, there you have it right there, napkinacademy.com. That is, as you mentioned earlier, my online visual thinking training school. I've started it almost 5 years ago now. We've had about 3,500 people who've become card-carrying members. I did an account once from 43 countries around the world. It's really great. It's a paid service. It's a subscription service. You pay a minimal fee every month. You pay me $19 a month. And what you get for that is you have my entire set of all 5 books available in video lessons. The video lessons vary in length from 15 to 25, 30 minutes. Each lesson is me live drawing, taking you through one aspect of visual communication. There are many, many of those lessons available now. We have an active community. People have homework assignments. Once every 3 weeks to get together online, and we do a review of each other's work. I introduce a new lesson. It's really great. I really, really enjoy it. And our community it's a tight group of people that are exploring from different parts of the world and different businesses and industries how we can bring these tools to bear in what we do. I encourage people to take a look. I think you'll like it.
I think it's an exciting opportunity for people to take a look at the Napkin Academy, but I would first tell them to start winning by reading the book
Drawing to Win.
Okay.
Very good.
I would like to thank you very much, Dan, and I hold you in high regards and think you've done a great job, okay, through the last 10 years that I've followed you. So privileged to have you as a guest.
Joe, thank you. It's been fun to be here.
This podcast will be available in Business 901 iTunes store. Look for some YouTube excerpts on it, and of course the Business 901 blog site. So thanks everyone for listening.